All right, fam. Take two. Again, we apologize for all the technical difficulties today. I promise you, this isn't going to happen all the time, but it's one of those days. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate you staying with us and hanging in there. Again, everybody has those days. We're not going to put out something that's not worth it, but we definitely apologize for the inconvenience. Technical difficulties have been taken care of. So without further ado, we got my boy HoF and Manuel with us today.
What's up?
Lex is in the studio. He's going to be on the chat. He's our production assistant, and you may see him here a little bit later on. But we got a good show for you today, episode 2. We got some U and Rangers talk, of course, Limelight, Cowboys Hall of Fame recap, our boy Jerry Jones, styling and profiling like always. We're going to talk about draft strategies. We're going to hit you up with some Dolphins talk. That's what at the request. Somebody requested it. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about some boxing. We got Manny in the building for that. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into the show.
Let's go.
Let's get this going, y'all.
You're now tuned in to the Sports Cave on #Champ.
All right, so first things first, he left. We kind of had an idea he was going to go to the Dodgers. He went to the Dodgers. What was his first game? We said he threw a 10-inning game.
Yeah, he had not a 10-inning
Oh,
game. He
I'm
had
sorry.
a 7-inning game.
7-inning
Would
game.
they add another inning?
Yeah,
Hey,
he's
it's been
doing
one of
some
those
big things,
days.
but let's slow down there. Oh,
Yeah.
a second. He had a 7-inning game.
7-inning game.
10
10
strikeouts.
strikeouts, what it was.
He only allowed 3 hits and 1 walk, so that's pretty impressive for a debut. You can't get much better than that for the Dodgers.
And I think they're a good team. I think they really are excited to have him there. I think he's excited to be there. I kind of wish we had him here, but it kind of one of those things. I think I don't know if it just happens only with the Rangers, but I think as soon as some players leave the Rangers, they just do. Like Chris Davis, he left and he did awesome in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I guess you just needed something different. I don't know what it was, but I mean, he got some run support. He wasn't getting a lot here when he pitched, and the other games that the Rangers would go off, and then, it's kind of sad to see him leave. But I think it's somebody maybe I may still root for. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah, most definitely. Oh, go ahead.
Sometimes,
man.
a move like that motivates him to start playing better. So, I mean, showed up, showed out, and did what he does best. I mean, sometimes it gives you motivation, when you're on a team that's struggling like that, to go to a team that has a chance at the championship, to a winning, they're winning right now. So, and then they got another hot pitcher in Kershaw from Dallas. So,
man, they're doing some things out in LA.
There's going to be some big pitchers over there now. So, we'll see what happens with this year in the postseason with them.
Well, congrats to you. I hope he does make it far. Hope he gets himself a no-hitter out there. Big city, he's got opportunity to do a lot of things out there. I don't know, your thoughts?
I'm going to miss him personally. I'm going to miss seeing him out there, miss the U chants. And every night that he goes out there and pitches, there's an opportunity of him getting a no-hitter and do something special. I'm going to miss having that every few games. And now, if you look at the Rangers rotation, there's not a lot of exciting pitchers that you're going to want to see, and that you have to tune into the Rangers and watch them. And you wasn't the only guy that got traded. There was Lucroy and Jeffers that also got traded. It's pretty much the Rangers saying, hey, we're giving up on this season and we're going to look towards the future. So I'm going to miss you, yes, but I also think that the trades that they made are making big statements, not only for this year but for the future.
Well, LaCroix, I know he was hot last year when he came over, but this year to me it sounded like he might have been a little bit. I don't know. It wasn't unproductive, but he wasn't as hot as he was last year. And maybe that's because
up the numbers he
maybe
was
it's because we got him.
previously,
We got him at the beginning of the season and wasn't halfway through. That may have something to do with it. I don't know, but I like his defensive, catching but he can he was mainly used for certain pitchers and he wasn't as productive as he was last year. And when I think everyone mentions that, they seem to forget that he was hot last year. He kept us in the running.
Yeah.
I think I'll miss LaCroix as well, but I know we got some good picks with the Dodgers coming, what they traded over for you.
Yeah, we definitely got younger, and then we got a couple of young stars that are showing out right now with Gallo. He's been hitting
Gallo's
some monster
beasting.
home runs, like monster.
Yeah.
And then, Manzara has been doing pretty good. So, I mean, we're doing good. We're getting younger. So, I mean, we at least got something to look forward to or to build around. So, and then, don't forget about you will still be a free agent after the season. So
That's true.
If
He's a
we
rental.
really
Very
want
true.
him, we can still push for him. I don't know if we have a good chance at it, but
It's going to cost some money.
It's a
Yeah, he's gonna
possibility.
be
It's going to cost
expensive.
us some money. It's going to be expensive.
What do you guys think on the Rangers, though? What do you think? They did. Are we jumping ship? Is it done? Are they still in the running? I know it seems like it's unlikely, but it's still possible. I mean, I don't know.
Technically, they are still in the running. They're 4 games behind the leader for the wild card, but they're 8th in the West in the
they
wild
gotta
card
jump a lot of
standings.
teams.
So they're going to have to jump a lot of teams, and they're going to have to win a lot of games. And like Manny said, sometimes it takes for some shaking up for the teams to respond. And it looks like they've been doing pretty well the last few games. They keep winning. I'm going to still keep watching. I'm still going to go out to the games. Of course, the bobblehead and giveaway games is the ones
Those
that I'm
are
mainly
gonna
going
be
to
there.
be concerned with. But I am going to go out there and support, and hopefully they can do well. We do have a good fan base here, despite what a lot of people say. And I know we're going to show up to the games and still support Beltre. We still got a lot of things going. That's an interesting thing. Beltre was actually stating that he doesn't want to be part of a rebuilding team. What do y'all think about that?
Man, I hope he doesn't want to leave because we're gonna have to rebuild at some point. I mean, we are we are younger, but I think Beltre is a big part of our team. I think he would need to stay. That'd be one player that I'd like to keep if management's thinking about spending some money and loosening the reins with the money spending. I think Beltre may be one to keep. I know he's a little bit older, but
He still produces.
He's
man.
produces,
You
yeah.
can't get past his production, and he keeps that clubhouse together. Like when he's in the lineup, he keeps all those guys
he can
together.
DH
like,
for me.
It's like a real brotherhood. You see it in the in the dugout when he's out there. They just joking around, playing around, having a good time, and sometimes you need that to build a winning tradition. So
Exactly, Manny. You noticed a big difference when he wasn't in the lineup at the beginning of the season, and that's when they were losing a lot of games, and you could tell that they were missing a leader out there. They were missing
definitely.
That
Beltre's
push.
presence out there in the batting order. And once he came back, they made a big difference. I mean, they haven't been steady all year, but their production went up a lot, and it says a lot about Beltre and his impact on the team. We got to keep him happy. I think we're going to try to do different things. I think John Daniels is going to make some big moves. He has to make some big moves because we had a window of time where we were one of the best teams in the league, and now we're making these moves, and it's making us look weak. And I think that John Daniels has to respond. I think his job may even be on the line in the near future if for whatever reason he doesn't turn this thing around.
Yeah, we went from 2 back-to-back World Series appearances to now we're struggling to get in the playoffs. They have to spend that money. They have it. I know ownership is tight. They don't want to spend that much money, but at some point we're gonna have to spend. We're gonna have to spend some kind of money on somebody. Draft picks take forever to develop. Sometimes we don't ever know. You may hit on someone. Gallo has been in organization for a while. Profar, where is he at? He was a hot commodity. We didn't trade him when we had the chance to, and we kept him, and now no one really interested in him. We probably won't get much for him if we want to trade him now. Gallo is one that I'd want to keep. I don't think we should get rid of him at any time. I mean, he's versatile. He can hit. He's got that big bat. I mean, he may strike out here and there, but I mean, if he hits it, it's gone, man. He's hitting things over center field.
Yeah,
amazing numbers. But I think we have to keep Beltre happy. I think he's he's very vital to the organization. If we get rid of or he leaves and we let him leave, who's gonna replace him?
Especially that kind of talent at third base where you really need that kind of talent. Because that dude's won how many Silver Gloves now at that?
He's got a lot, man.
A lot.
He's got a lot.
We'll have Lex check on that stat.
We'll get our statistician on that.
Yeah, it's not going to be another Beltre just going to fall in your lap like that.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of players like that, especially.
I would like for them to make at least another run with him, in the lineup.
Definitely.
So that would be something to really watch.
I think he's going to be vital. He may play a lot of different positions and who we get and who he may be able to convince to come over. I know the whole thing about Texas and it being hot, pitchers don't want to come, and him being still here, and the possibility of the new stadium, opening up soon, that may change a lot of perspectives. It'd be indoors, it'd be cooled off. If pitchers don't want to stand out in the heat, that's their excuse. And hey, we got AC on now,
right?
Right next to Jerry World, another indoor stadium. So 5 Golden Gloves for Beltre. That's up there.
That's awesome.
Thank you for the stat there.
I think behind Pudge Rodriguez, he's got to be my next favorite Ranger.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Pudge Rodriguez, he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. So he's going to have the bobblehead game coming up on the 12th, August 12th. So Beltre behind Pudge. Beltre to me is my next favorite Texas Ranger.
There's a lot of good Rangers
It's just
out there.
exciting to watch him play, and man, all the types of plays that he makes, extraordinary plays.
We're spoiled every day.
Yeah, we are
Every
spoiled.
game we get to watch him make a awesome play, a highlight reel type of play, and it's so routine for him. He makes it look so
It
easy.
makes it look very easy. I know.
That's awesome.
I don't like playing third.
And when you
Yeah,
watch
just-
other third
just
basemen,
think about it,
you can
3,000
tell
hits. When are
difference.
you gonna see that again? You know, as a Texas Ranger fan, you know we hadn't had it before. You know what I'm saying, like that. So
No,
we're
give it to
spoiled with Beltre, man.
Yeah,
We are.
That's probably one of the best deals that they've ever done to bring a star player here. So
I mean, we had A-Rod for a loner, I guess, for a little bit, but
Let's not even talk
Let's
about
not
it.
talk
let's not
about
even
it.
bring that old
Chenko
wounds,
Park
man. Old
or any of
wounds.
those guys, please.
We'll leave him in the past where he belongs.
yeah. So, but the possibility of the indoor stadium, I think it'll open up a lot of opportunities. Maybe for pitching. It seems like pitching is something that we've always struggled. And you leaving now, and like you said,
Yeah.
we have a lot of guys that aren't big names.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
I see Laura is also has the sad face, and she's got her U, and of course, like I said,
Sorry
we're
he's
gonna miss
gone.
that and boo that he is gone. But
Yeah.
We feel
don't
your
give it,
pain.
don't count us out.
We feel your
we
pain.
might have a chance to get him at the end of the year. But moving on, the Cowboys Hall
Man.
of Fame game. They had a big weekend this past
Big
weekend.
Big weekend for
Starting
the
with
Cowboys.
Thursday preseason game, so we had a busy weekend with Hall of Fame in Ohio. So we had the Cowboys kicking off the preseason, getting everybody started on Thursday night. Y'all catch the game?
I caught a little bit of it. I was at a restaurant with some coworkers, but it was on TVs. I won't mention the name until we get a sponsorship, maybe. But yeah, it was good. It was on TV. We got there early. I did see Romo was in a little hut. They wasn't finished with the stadium, but he was practicing for his NBC debut,
Broadcast.
CBS debut. But I think it was a good game. I know it's a preseason game and not any starters started, but it gives the guys that are trying to improve themselves. It gives them a chance to make a name for themselves. For even if they don't make the team, someone else may have saw them. I know me personally, Rico Gathers, man,
oh,
is a big
man.
boy. I'm
That
excited
dude,
to
if
have
we
him
can
on the
get
team.
If we can get him going, that size, how do you even
6'6".
protect something like that? How do you block somebody
Basketball
like that?
player, man,
Yeah.
just throw it up.
He boxed him
Throw
out
it
in
up
the
there,
post, got
let
that
him beat everybody
touchdown.
out.
Looked
He
nice.
stood out.
He
I
looked
think he
good.
stood out to
He
me.
stood out.
He definitely did.
I wasn't impressed with Taco for being our first round pick. He was
yeah.
kind of flat. I would like to see more from him in the second game. Definitely, Rod Marinelli called him out on it, so I hope that puts a little fire under his tank.
There's
It
debate.
shows
He
what he's really
was
worth
capable
that
of.
first round draft pick to me. But who else stood out to you in this game? I mean, I had a few.
Bryce Butler.
Bryce
yeah,
Butler.
Bryce
He
Butler
made some
was out
big
there making
plays.
some
Cheeto was
catches.
good. Cheeto stood out. I'm not gonna butcher his last name, Awuzie.
Awuzie,
Cheeto,
oh man, he
We'll call
almost
him
had him on
Cheeto.
pick six.
Yeah.
Man,
If he
he's
would have
exciting.
intercepted that ball when he make that break, that would have been a pick six.
He's
Man,
exciting.
he's exciting to watch. They said behind Jalen Smith making news in camp that he's been like the next biggest name coming out of the Dallas Cowboys training camp.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to see more from him in the upcoming weeks in preseason and see. Never know. I mean, with Anthony Brown having a little injury, he might jump, or we might need him to be a starter. They say he's in practice doing what Byron Jones was doing before, basically playing any position,
Any position, yep.
in the secondary
Move
that
him
they're
around.
throwing at him, and he's running with it. He's doing good with it. So
Yeah, you can never have too many cornerbacks or
never,
defensive
not
backs.
in this league, not with
Never.
the wide
Especially, I think
receivers.
with our defensive line that needs that little extra time.
Right
When
on.
you got a
Yes.
good cornerback, good safeties, they're gonna hesitate to throw. That gives them a little bit extra just to get to the quarterback. That was one of the things that we didn't really do so well last year. But we're improving on the outside and the backfield, and I think we may have a better chance of getting to the quarterback a little
Yeah.
easier at least.
And to touch on Cheeto as well, they're also stating he's ball hawking in the practices and picking Dak off. So that's something to look
good
out
for
for.
me.
We need a lot more interceptions. We need a lot more turnovers.
A lot of
Our
turnovers.
defense has been down the last couple of years, and that's something that's been affecting us, especially late in games. So we need some big playmakers, and I think that's
Especially
what we
with
try to
David
do.
Irvin being suspended. We're really going to require a strong secondary, because if we
need
can't
that
get
time.
that pressure up front, our secondary is going to have to eat it up and make plays. We're going to have to get turnovers. I mean, that's one thing that we struggled with last year was turnovers. So hopefully they can get it together and make some plays this year. And, even though last year, we didn't have a lot of plays, a lot of playmakers, we had still a pretty middle of the pack defense. So if we can improve on that, it'll get us closer to where we want to be, and hopefully try to, fight for that 6th Super Bowl that we've been really craving for a long time.
Man, it's coming.
It's coming,
One day.
right? We want that
We
Lombardi
want it.
trophy back in
I want
Dallas, y'all.
all these younger Cowboy fans that weren't spoiled like we were to watch the greater Cowboy teams get one. I think our offense is great. I'm not too worried about our offense. It's our defense that we kind of need to work on a little bit. I know it was the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are a pretty good team. They didn't have their starters either, but man, some of those that I believe it was the first drive looked like it was way too easy.
Like we didn't let
Blaine Gabbert was driving down the field on us
Blaine
pretty
Gabbert,
easy, with ease and precision.
And I kind of want to touch on that because he did good, but what about our backup quarterbacks? I know we what was it, McCown we drafted, and we have Cooper Rush, and then we have Kellen Moore.
Yeah, I personally think Moore did good. I'm the one that's probably his worst critic in Dallas as far as a Cowboys fan watching his production. I really didn't see I went into the game thinking I don't get what they like about this dude.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I was pleasantly surprised after the first game. I thought he did pretty well.
I give him.
He's a lefty, so it's gonna take some getting used to it. Is just seeing it and the release and it. The guys, I'm sure it's a little different, but he did pretty well. He was pushing it downfield. He had a couple misses, but not as bad as he was looking last year.
He's accurate. I give him that. He's very accurate. It's just everyone questions his arm strength.
Yeah.
Can he go deep?
And his size.
And his size. Yeah, but he's a smaller quarterback. But I think he did good. He got 2 touchdowns. It is preseason. You get to try a lot of different things out.
He made some pretty good plays. To me, he had a real good timing with the wide receivers. He was throwing some lobs up there, and he was putting them where only the receiver can get it. And so he was making some good plays. He was being accurate. He wasn't making a lot of mistakes to me. He was reading okay to me. To me, there's a little fight for that backup quarterback position.
I think Cooper Rush is coming in. He's, of course, a young guy. I think he had that one. I know he had that one touchdown. It was kind of in the middle of the open, though. He was down the middle. He threw it. He kind of just walked it in. But is there controversy? I know there's a lot of people that don't like Kellen Moore for whatever reason, and it goes back to his arm strength. Can he throw it down the field? He's very accurate. We get that, but we didn't get a lot of deep plays last year. I don't think they didn't let Dak open the reins and just go deep as much as we would have thought they would have, because he does have that run threat. But there may be a controversy with backup quarterbacks, at least here in Dallas. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think it's going to take a little bit more time. We'll have to slow down on Rush. We're going to need to see some more out of him to be able to solidify the backup spot.
One person I know that likes Cooper Rush.
I really think
we really don't even
he's going to be on the practice squad.
I don't want to
be an issue. We want Dak to stay.
I really don't want it to be an
issue.
issue.
Let's pump the brakes on that. He did have a touchdown drive, but I think he's going to have to wait a little bit. It is a preseason. It is against the third or fourth stringers. So I think we should wait on that. But I think Kellen Moore, for now, is okay.
It's a pretty good set.
So we can all agree they definitely got some things to work on, but there was definitely some good highlights as far as individual performances that I liked, and some, that need to turn around in the next couple of games. So we'll see how they do.
I'm excited.
Hopefully they can learn from it and
get,
keep moving. And you got a few weeks before the season starts. Once that season starts, it ain't no looking back. You got to come with it every week. So hopefully they can get it together by the end of preseason and start that week 1 very strong against a very important divisional game from the get-go. So we're playing the Giants the first game. It's going to be definitely a very important game. In our division, it basically comes down to just 1 or 2 teams, and that's it.
I think the division's back to what it used to be, where it's a lot of strong teams there. I hate to give other NFC East teams any credit, but just a homer like that. But I think that's the division. That division's strong. I think it's coming back to what it used to be. People are scared to play people in the NFC East. And I think with the acquisitions from the Giants, they have a potential to be a team that threatens to win I don't want to get swept again. I know for sure, but they're
definitely got to find a way to beat them this year, because that was gruesome to lose to them twice last year. But I'm hoping for another NFC East title. So
it was tough. We got them the first game of the season here at home, and we are going to play that first place schedule. That's going to make a big difference compared to last year, playing the last place schedule. So it's going to be hard for the Cowboys to get back to where they were, but I think they're going to make some improvements, and they may make improvement and not even have a better record. But hopefully we can make the playoffs and make a run. So I think that's going to be good. But one thing that we're leaving out, it was the highlight of the whole weekend, Jerry Jones.
Jones.
My boy Jerry.
Allen.
So what do you think?
That's my idol. That's what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
Just like Mr. Jerry
Just
Jones.
I
a
think
big
all of
Jerry
us wanted to do
Jones.
that.
Just living life to the way you're supposed to live it, man. That man right there.
How about them custom Nikes, though? What do y'all think
Oh
of
man,
those?
them Air
Those
Force with
gold-
the Hall of Fame. Oh boy, I
Directly
need to
from
find me
the
the plug like
Phil
Jerry.
Knight himself. He said, "You remember
Jerry
that
got
Nike deal we
fresher
did a
shoe
few
game
years
than some of
ago?
these athletes out here
Here's
with
some fresh
contracts."
kicks, Jerry.
Man,
That's
Jerry,
pretty awesome.
Jerry was rocking them fresh.
He was
Yeah.
rocking them. He was looking nice with the gold
Custom
jacket.
Air Force ones to match his
nice
golden
speech.
coat. He was looking
Hey,
fresh.
man, he's matched good. We do have a question from Rafael Salcedo asking if the NFC East is the toughest division in the league. Now, kind of touch on that. I
Well,
personally think it's getting there. I don't know if it's the toughest just yet, but I think it is going to be very competitive this year.
that's
as
going to be
far
tough.
as the NFC
AFC
or
West
NFL
is going to
all
be
the
pretty
way
tough.
around.
AFC West with
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Oakland.
say. AFC West. Can't never
Kansas
count out
City.
Kansas City. They came out strong last year.
Yeah,
And you
but-
got the Broncos in that division.
That's going to be
So-
anyone's division. I think they're pretty comparable
And-
to the NFC
and then
East.
don't
as
forget
it
about
could be
Oakland, you
anybody's
know,
Oakland's
division.
really good.
Oakland was very strong last year to Derek Carr
Now
went
they had
down.
the beast.
Had he not gone down, that Super Bowl could have been looked different. You know, they could have really gave a push to the New England Patriots.
I was hoping
so.
for a Raiders Cowboys Super Bowl last year, and
So
it was
to
almost
me, I think
possible.
the
Great
NFC
question,
East
Raphael.
is one of the top divisions, but I don't know if they're quite the toughest division right now.
Not right now.
But they are getting there with all it might be different this year. It might be the strongest division this year.
Don't know
'Cause,
yet, but
I mean,
it's
the
looking like
Eagles
it.
and the Giants definitely made some moves that can really put competition on us. So we got to come with it every week. So as a Cowboys fan, it's going to be interesting to see the season.
It's
Not
a great
just gonna be
question,
a
Raphael.
walkthrough.
Thank you. Thank you for that question.
Yeah,
that was
great
really
question.
good.
We appreciate you tuning in and asking some questions, man. We definitely want to appreciate everybody that takes the time to watch us and ask us questions. That's what we're here to do, and we really enjoy this. I'm hoping y'all enjoying the show too.
We do have another question on the whole topic of talking about the Cowboys, Jerry Jones. We got a question from Mr. Fredo Mesa. He saw his jersey up here last week, and he's asking if we think Swisher's going to show up this year.
Right now, he's currently hurt. He's got a hamstring issue, but I think he's definitely going to be a player to have to watch out for once the season starts. If he is able to start on the starting roster, they're going to try to work him in the slot, maybe do some two-slot sets. I think he's going to be
He's
a
going to
nice
have the
sleeper.
opportunity to make plays. I mean, to me, I've seen a lot of his highlights. He definitely, everybody said it, he definitely reminds of another Cole Beasley. I mean, if he can make the cut, he can be a return specialist. I mean, his returns at North Carolina were ridiculous. I mean, that guy can run.
Yeah.
His route running, you give him some open space, and you get him the ball, good luck catching him. So to me, I think he has a very good chance of making some plays. So you throw some sets out there with him, Beasley, Des Bryant, Terrence Williams. How do you defend that? I mean, that's two running backs that they're not big in size, but they compensate with awesome route running, great pass catching abilities, and can take it to the house at any point, if they get some open field. Yeah. So he definitely has a chance to, make a name for himself at least.
I think he does have the opportunity.
Yeah, especially on special teams. We have been lacking on that. I hate to say it since Dwayne Harris left.
Right?
Since Dwayne Harris left, we haven't lacked that home run punch
performer
from any returner. Yeah, as sad as it is to say, I look at the New York Giants and say, damn, I wish Harris was still here. We could still use that guy. It's sad to say, but we haven't had anybody like that, and I think Switzer can be one of those dynamics on special teams to help us.
That's a good question.
Hopefully, come back from that small
question.
injury and get some work in the preseason and definitely get some excitement going for the regular season on return games. So
I think Fredo was maybe asking so that he can draft him in our draft league.
Oh, he's known
to make those wild cards and getting into that whole draft pick. I mean, thanks for the question, Fredo. That was a really good question.
And a Cowboy-friendly draft as well.
Yes,
He's
and
known for that.
I think
that'll get us over.
I think you were asking me that for the draft, and that's kind of what we're going to get into here. It's coming that season where that time of year where everyone's starting to do draft picks, everyone's joining the leagues. We had our draft meeting yesterday to discuss our point settings, to discuss any changes that we wanted to vote on, and we made a few changes. We also picked our order, so now everybody in our league knows which order you're going to pick. So I'm kind of interested in what maybe your strategy is, or maybe your strategy is, Manuel, what you guys go in there, what's your mindset? When you go to the draft, you're going to meet your friends, and it's going to be a good time, but in as far as how you can prepare for your draft, what steps do you guys take? What is maybe I don't want to say you have to give up your secrets, but definitely maybe your strategies on what you go for.
Everyone's a little different. Me, I prefer to try to, I'm one of those guys that I'm going to study all day. Like I'm cramming for a test. I'm going to look at my sheets. I'm going to make notes on my sheets. I'm going to jot down who's suspended, who's hurt, who I definitely don't want to draft. Maybe make a star by a person that I'm going to want. So I'm old school as can be on that type of
Hey,
thing.
I don't blame you on that. Sometimes we get into the meat of the thing. You're just trying to make a right pick, and you end up picking the wrong guy. Like, oh,
Yeah.
So definitely
It's
got to
happened
study.
before.
There's a lot of
Definitely gotta study and
distractions
be
going
ready.
on. Yeah. And
I
you
mean,
want to
you
get
can't
loose,
just-
but not too loose. You want to have fun and know that you
At
have a
some point, you
strategy,
gotta make
but
some
your strategy is going to
wise
go out the
choices.
window once people start picking. So
Make sure you don't. One strategy I look at, I like to try to keep my my picks balanced. I try to make sure I have enough of each position. Some people overload more on one position than the other, depending on how the draft goes. I just try to keep a balance, lineup all the way across. I personally, a lot of people nowadays they say it's a wide receiver league. To me, I personally, if I can get one of the top running backs, I'll go running back in the first round with no problem. I mean, there's only a few premier running backs that are they're workhorse of the team. Like nowadays, there's so much running back by committee. It's kind of hard getting somebody that will get enough touches every game to be that elite running back in fantasy. So that's one thing I look at, just depending on where I'm drafting. I also got to look at best available player at that time as well. So it's it's just kind of go, study part of it, but also go on. Intuition sometimes depending on how the draft is going. So
I think a lot of it plays on your pick too, because if you have first, second, third pick, man,
You're guaranteed.
You're guaranteed to
Yeah.
have a top one,
Whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want. I
Le'Veon
personally
Bell.
I know I agree with you on
Johnson.
that. We have
David
we have
Johnson.
our leagues. Just using our league as an example, it is passer friendly, receiver friendly. So if you don't have one of those elite running backs, it's hard not to
you better make up for it.
Yeah, you got to
different
find
way.
another way to make up for it. So I think I maybe last year was the first year in our league that everyone went running back the first round, and we usually have a wild card that someone's gonna pick up a quarterback real early. Everybody starts freaking out, and then quarterbacks start going way too early, which I like because I'm gonna pick up everyone
I
else.
can wait
want.
on quarterback. To me, I can get a pretty good quarterback later in the draft.
Yeah.
It's worked for me the last couple of years, and to me, I can wait on quarterback. To me, you got to get at least an elite running back or an elite wide receiver or
First
something
picks.
close to it, depending on where you're picking. So
Yeah.
This year I'm at the end. I was there last year too, number 11, same spot as I got last year. So last year Le'Veon Bell fell into my lap, and I sat on him for the suspension, and he panned out for me. Big shouts out to Lex who beat me in the finals, but I got there because of Le'Veon Bell. I mean, everybody once suspension was reduced, they were asking for trades, and that's my guy that I sat on for 3 weeks. I'm not going to trade him at that point, but he was definitely a main help in me, especially towards the end of the season, to get to the finals. And I think having an elite running back is one of those commodities. If you don't get him soon or you pass up on him on accident,
you might not get another
You might
chance.
not get another chance. So, there's a lot of receivers out this year. It is more passer friendly. I feel that maybe going running back first is a good idea. But then again, if you have a top of the line receiver who's going to put up points, you cannot you can't leave those points on the table. So it really depends on how the picks are going to me.
Last year, Antonio Brown was my first pick. He was the first pick. He was a consensus number one, no-brainer pick. But David Johnson changed the game. He brought the game back to the running back, him and Le'Veon Bell, and Zeke as well.
Zeke too.
But those two guys in particular, they caught a lot, and David Johnson had a lot of catches. He had around 80 catches, 80-plus catches. That makes a big difference, especially in PPR league, and that gives you a big advantage. So those two guys in particular, from what I've seen, are going David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, and then possibly Zeke, who, like you said, with the Le'Veon Bell thing and the suspension looming, that's something that you're going to have to watch out for. That should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So that may affect how you can do the draft strategy. I assume if you're going to get somebody that's suspended, you're going to have to follow right back up with another running back. So that's going to be something you have to do, and it's going to cost you at the wide receiver position. So that's a strategy that you're going to have to watch out for. If you don't get one of those top three running backs, you are probably going to end up with an Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones type of deal, Mike Evans. Right after that, and then it's going to slide, and then the draft is going to change, and then what do? You don't have one of the top receivers, you don't have one of the top running backs, then what?
I think a lot of it is we do come in with a game plan, but I think once you start drafting and you're there and the picks start
Sometimes that
going,
game plan
that
can go
game
right
plan
out the
just
window.
out the window, and you're like, all right, because I
That's
go
why
in there.
that's why to me you still got to do your research. You still got to study
Yes.
because you got to have that 1, 2, or 3 guy that in case this one is gone or in case that one is gone, you at least know who your third pick was. Or you got to really pay attention between rounds too. Even though you got to listen to who's coming off the board, you also got to start looking to see who you
Who
might
you
be
gonna get?
drafting at your spot. You got to start looking at what somebody already drafted at one position. So it's a lot of strategy, a lot of thinking. You got to be on your toes on draft day. So you got to come correct.
No, but it's fun though. It's
Oh,
definitely,
it's
worth
definitely
it.
fun.
It's
Yeah,
definitely worth
I
it.
have a blast hanging out with you guys and doing the live draft the way that we do it. We always pick a different spot to hang out at. So it's definitely a fun time. So a lot more people are getting into it. A lot more
It is.
girls. I've seen a lot of females talk about getting into fantasy. I got a couple of friends, female friends, that are playing fantasy football. So
It's
become-
growing. It's definitely growing. Like
It's
I said,
growing.
It
And
growing
then
to
this
good-
year we had the first
Convention.
national fantasy football convention. We got to go to it. ADOT went back to back Saturday and Sunday. I was there Sunday. Luckily, I got to meet a few stars. I got to meet David Johnson out there, one of the top running backs in the league, and that was an awesome experience. So, the fantasy football is definitely growing. It's definitely something that we enjoy, and we've been doing for a few years now. So, we'll be talking about it throughout the season. On the show, we'll bring up a lot of stuff about fantasy. And for those that enjoy fantasy or want to get into it, we like to talk about it. So.
What do you guys think? Like as far as like who's gonna be for sure all time or first ballot draft picks, like quarterbacks? For sure,
Rodgers,
I know Brady.
Yeah,
Aaron
Rodgers
Rodgers,
is going to go
Brady.
early. Someone's going to pick him very early,
Stafford.
second round, maybe before I ideally would, and before a lot of people would. And then once Rodgers goes and you see Brady go, it's usually
It's-
domino
would
effect.
In
you
our league, it's
consider-
like that. In our
Definitely.
league, it's
Would
very
you
much.
consider fantasy-wise, would you consider Stafford as one of the top runners?
Stafford puts up a lot of numbers. He
He's-
passes a lot.
fantasy-wise,
He's been
right?
consistent the last couple of years.
Yes.
He's not a bad pick, but man, he does play for the Lions. So
He's someone I would target late. I mean, they have
maybe
opportunity
two.
to buy him cheap.
Yeah.
You can get him very late in the draft and still be
But he
happy
does
with
put
your
up
team
numbers,
and
man.
the
He throws
weapons that
a
you
lot.
have around
Yeah.
him. They do throw a lot. He's one of the top passers. He's gone over 4,000
So
in a
with
couple
Eli
years.
getting a new toy over there,
I think I drafted him last year, and I think this year I'm not saying I would, but I think more people are going to consider him because of the targets that he does have.
man, one thing I've had Eli on my teams previously. One thing I hate rooting for Eli, but
I
man,
can't-
fantasy-wise,
Yeah.
makes you
He does put up numbers. You think
He
with
can
the
put up
production?
numbers, just don't beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's how I usually go. But what do you think with the
Right.
production of Dak last year? His stock is going to go up?
With his Dak is going to go up? Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. He's going to push the ball downfield, so I think he's going to have bigger chunk plays. I think he's going to be a lot more confident. We may even see him run a little bit more. I hope so. I mean, he's athletic enough to be able to get those yards. He doesn't necessarily do it all the time, but when he has to, he can get those yards when people are covered downfield. So I think he's going to progress as a quarterback. We're going to play some tougher defenses, so it's going to be a good
Yeah,
test.
and then they're going to have a
I'm for
year of
him.
video on him too. So
Yeah, and then
we'll
thanks
see what kind of
for the
changes he
stat,
makes.
Lex. Stafford is ranked number 14 quarterback for 2017, so he's down there productive, but he is kind of in the middle of the row, which that may be a late round pick, second quarterback maybe if ever you get a decent quarterback.
I have a question. When do you guys take tight ends? What's your strategy? Y'all going to be one of those guys that goes after Gronk early in the first round or two?
I think we have our guy who takes Gronk every year, but
Marvin?
every year. But I don't know. I personally wait for me to get at least either two receivers or maybe two running backs before I even think about tight ends.
Yeah.
That's just me personally. I like to stack up on my for sure legit. Tight ends are productive if you get a productive tight end, but others aren't. A lot of them they block when they run.
Mm-hmm.
So me personally, I usually go a little bit later in the rounds for my tight ends. It just really depends on everyone else, but I try to get my core running back receivers and maybe sometimes a quarterback before I go tight end. But tight ends are changing the game nowadays.
To me, it becomes to one of those best available at that time. If there's a premier tight end, at a specific round, and I'm looking around and I feel like that's the best one available, then I'll take a tight end that's in the top rankings and hope that they produce like they're supposed to, and that it's worth the risk taking the tight end. Normally, I don't take them too early though, fourth, maybe fifth round at the earliest if it's there. If not, I try to kind of wait middle of the pack.
We have someone that is known to take 3 tight ends in one draft, so you got to watch out. That may be a strategy.
Man.
That may be a strategy to trade later on, but I definitely try to get one, maybe a backup at the very end
And
when
that's it.
your pick. After you had a few drinks and you're done and you're ready to roll out. There may be another tight end that you pick up, but definitely I'd rather stack up on running backs or receivers personally. I know running backs for sure. Your top 3 are going to be David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Elliott.
Yep.
Anybody else you may think of going to go top? People
top
reaching.
what?
Running back.
Oh, top running backs? No, those are the cream of the crop, and then it's going to start going receiver on most of your drafts.
I think those top three will be in the top.
It's a crapshoot.
And then after that, it'll be wide receiver for a little bit, and then maybe you'll see a couple late running backs, maybe towards the back end of the first round or the early second round.
Yeah, a lot of other ones are also, running backs by committee. So
and then you also got to think about it. Hopefully nothing happens, but there could be injury implications from here into the draft also. Speaking of injury implications, we got a team that just got a big injury on theirs, with the Dolphins. So.
Oh man, yeah, the Dolphins. Speaking of the Dolphins, they were in the news recently. Manuel, the Dolphins.
The Dolphins, man, they got struck with some bad luck already to start off the season. Their quarterback is potentially going to be out for the rest of the season.
Man, non-contact injury
That's a tough loss for the Dolphins. I got a soft spot for the Dolphins. I was a big Don Marino fan. Got my Dan Marino doll right here.
Laces out.
I mean, the Dolphins, they play in a tough division because they got New England. Buffalo may not always be a great team, but it's always a tough team, especially playing in Buffalo. But, I mean, the Dolphins to lose their quarterback like that, they did sign Jay Cutler. I'm not a Jay Cutler fan. I'm hoping for the best for them, but it's going to be a tough season for them.
They're a young team. They're upcoming team. They got Ajayi, who I drafted.
Oh, yeah. Jay Ajayi last year had a very
breakout
breakout season, man. That's another one we need to talk about when it comes to
running back,
some good running backs, to draft or to look at. Man, last year he had a breakout season.
He had a really good season, and he was under the radar. I think I used him from a pick in another league because we picked him in our league, and it turned out well for me. I mean, he put up some numbers.
Yeah.
I think I feel bad for Tannehill going down, especially non-contact. Hopefully the best. We wish him the best. He is a competitive quarterback.
We all know about getting your quarterback injured,
and that's
We've
a
dealt
big
with
one
it for a couple of years, and
I think it's
tough.
I think it's even on any team. Any team that loses their starting quarterback, I think, is going to struggle. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not good backup quarterbacks, but they're rare nowadays. But Cutler did sign 1 year, $10 million. How could you not for Miami?
Right? Come back for $10 million for 1 year.
They didn't really have much choice.
In Miami,
South Beach. Have you ever been on South Beach?
I haven't been to South Beach, but I'm sure
just take one stroll down South Beach, and it's not a problem coming back from retirement.
I'm sure he didn't hesitate to sign it. Now there was rumors that he was waiting for his family to agree and all that stuff. But
so do y'all agree with the Dolphins choosing him over maybe Colin Kaepernick, or do y'all think Cutler had a better chance of being successful with the Dolphins than Kaepernick would? Not, with all that outside stuff, just basically on their performance. Or what do you think, who would handle that situation better coming into a new system like that?
Just based on football alone, Kaepernick is familiar with Adam Gase, the head coach of the Dolphins. He has worked. Cutler is familiar with him. He had worked with Adam Gase in Chicago, and he's been his offensive coordinator, so he knows the offense. It's not going to take him a long time to get acclimated with the offense, so I think that was a bigger part of him being signed than anything else. He doesn't have a lot of time to work. They're already in camp. I assume they have a preseason game next week.
Yes.
Wednesday, Thursday. Most of the games are going to be on Thursday.
A lot of games on next week.
So they don't have a lot of time to prepare. I think that had a lot to do with it. I definitely want to see Kaepernick. As just a fan of watching him play the game, and the way he changed the game for a short period of time was remarkable. And I'm hoping to see him get in some type of uniform soon. He definitely. It's pretty sad that he's not on a team yet. I'm definitely one of those people that think he should be. If you look at some of the names that have been signed over him, some arena guys that have been signed over him, he's been to a Super Bowl.
Like Odell said, he's not getting blackballed by the NFL owners. But it's hard to believe that when there's other quarterbacks being signed that have no prior history in the NFL, where Kaepernick's been proven. Like you said, he's gone to a Super Bowl. He's put up good numbers with teams that he may have not done that so well, but. He's very controversial right now.
So do you think the Dolphins ever even thought about contacting Romo for that?
I don't know. There was speculations they might have.
Some people brought it up, but I never saw it. I don't see him coming back.
I don't think he's coming back.
Like
I know
if he comes back, it won't be for a situation.
Not for
like
that.
I'm not saying nothing bad on the Dolphins, but for Romo's perspective, he won't come back for that type of situation.
I heard he doesn't want to win with anybody else.
He's been making a lot of money. He's also going to be playing a lot of golf, so it's going to be it's going to be hard to entice Tony to do anything. Right now, I think if anywhere he would go to Dallas. If for whatever reason something happens to Dak, then I think then Romo's going to be the option. He's going to be the first one to call. We're going to send out like a bat phone for Romo, maybe with him like hurt and laying down on the field, or some kind of signal, and be like, Romo, we need you. Get your butt out of the studio.
You're not too far away.
Yeah. He's trying to do what we're trying to do. So I don't see him coming back soon.
And in case you guys didn't know, we are talking about the Dolphins because that was at a request of a viewer. So if you guys have any requests or questions, we do take into consideration. That is the reason.
This is the Sports Cave. We done told y'all from the beginning. This is all sports for everyone. We don't like to just stick to one thing or another, not just football. We do talk a lot of football. It is almost football season, so there will be a lot of football talk, but we do cover any sport from the local level, community level, up to the professional level. We'll talk for all kinds of sports, which brings us to our next topic. We do have quite a bit of news in the boxing news. I'm a big boxing fan. I will be bringing you a lot of the boxing stuff that I like to, watch. Fights that are coming up. I mean, the big fights y'all know about. Some fights y'all might not even know about that will be great fights. I do follow boxing. I followed boxing for a long time. I grew up a Julio Cesar Chavez fan.
Who did
Fight night. Who didn't go to a fight night with Julio Cesar Chavez?
Man, we did.
I love boxing, the sweet science, hit and don't get hit. So with that being said,
I think it's making a comeback with these good fights that are on here now.
They really try to bring
yeah.
boxing back to the boxing fan.
You think it lost a little bit to UFC for a little bit, but
I think they did lose when UFC first came on the scene and it really started catching wind. It got really hot, and I think boxing started kind of being backpedaled by them. They kind of were like the little brother for a little bit, but I think boxing has been coming back now for the last year or two. They've had some really solid fights. They're finally getting good fighters to fight good fighters. They're not just disputing contracts. Oh, you're signed with them and you're signed with them. We can't make that fight.
They want to see fights that people want to see. I think that's what they're heading to. I think they're coming back. I think it's always been a strong sport. But I think with UFC now, it's on every month. There's like 3 or 4 different fights. Yeah, it's too many big fights and
not the best fights being made either.
It's just name game, but that maybe people that are a little bit more irrelevant. But I think boxing for sure is making a comeback, and I know we got a big one coming up.
Oh yeah, we got two coming up. We got one this month. Of course, everyone is talking about it. Mayweather versus McGregor. I'm not a big fan of this fight. To me, boxing should be boxing, and UFC should be UFC.
It is definitely gonna be a moneymaker.
I don't think they should have just allowed McGregor to just come in there and get a title shot at the best. Mayweather's never been beaten. To me, how do you put a UFC fighter to beat somebody that's never been beaten at their sport? As much as I hate him, you have to admit he's been one of the best for a long time. Has never been able to be beat. To me, a UFC fighter isn't just going to step in and beat a boxer. That's his trade. That's what he's lived and breathed for years now.
He's 49-0.
49-0. You're not just going to come in and give him the first loss.
At boxing, yeah.
I mean, that's a different sport altogether, I think.
It is, and Raphael brings up a good point. He said the UFC is starting to struggle a little bit. I mean, businesses can only grow so far, so fast, and I think they oversaturated the thing, and that's an issue even with the biggest of leagues like the NFL. Like you guys said, it's on every night. I mean, they have different shows all the time. Boxing is now being on public TV or on ESPN on a regular basic TV.
More people can see it.
Premier Boxing Champions. They're making it a big point. The big networks are taking notice that people still love and still will watch boxing in the big names. Lomachenko was fighting last night on ESPN. That was pretty awesome. He's one of the most dominant fighters. At only 7 pro fights, this guy is known as one of the pound-for-pound best fighters, and you could see him free. You don't get that very much with UFC these days. It's
give you the
few and far
fights.
between to find that. They'll give you preliminary fights, you get into it a little bit, and you forget about it, and you don't tune into those pay-per-views. Those pay-per-views are happening once every month, and those aren't cheap. When you have a fight night, it's a commitment. You're gonna pay $100 and then have drinks and what have you, and different food and all that stuff. And it costs money to do that. And another thing that he's saying, I personally am going for Mayweather just for boxing purposes. I'm a boxing historian, and I'm hoping that boxing will make its comeback in the next big fight that's happening in September 16th, Canelo versus Triple G.
Oh, man,
that's the type of fight.
We've been waiting on that fight for a long time.
The next big thing, that's going to be the fight that everybody's been waiting for. I personally been waiting for that fight for a couple of years now.
And they made it happen.
I am Team Canelo, but man, I have all the respect for Triple G. He is a top-notch fighter. Canelo, to me, has improved over the last couple of fights, has really come out showing He has new attributes. He's got more speed. He's not just your I'm gonna try to rumble with you all night type of fighter anymore. He's starting to really move around in that ring and really control it. So that's the fight I'm looking forward to in September. I wish I could have gone to Vegas to see it, but I will definitely be watching that one, and we definitely will be talking about it.
And I know I have. I think we would watch the other fight. We were talking maybe on Facebook about Triple G and how I was rooting for him, but then how can you root against Canelo? It's kind of hard. It's hard not to.
And I gotta almost root for Canelo by default, being a Mexican American. I am Mexican, and both my parents are from Mexico, so I got a soft spot for Mexican boxers. So
yeah, but these are two great fighters. This is gonna be a
you
great
can't
fight.
go wrong with these two fighters fighting each other. It's gonna be a rumble. They both have that what Triple G calls the Mexican style. They ain't gonna back down. They're going to go until they can't go no more. They ain't going to quit on each other.
And since the Mayweather fight, Canelo has been going up. He's been getting better and better. He's elevated his fighting, and I think he has a really good chance. I know a lot of people are going to be rooting for Triple G just because of his knockouts, but if you look at his last couple fights, he hasn't been that impressive either. Yeah. He does look beatable, and I think now that they're meeting at this time, I think Canelo has the edge. He has his size. I think Canelo's going to beat him. He's a lot younger as well.
Yeah,
he's beat better fighters, and I think he has a chance. I really hope he wins.
I think if nobody wants to choose sides, I think this would be a good one just to watch, just to see a good fight.
Any kind of fighting fan, whether it be boxing or UFC, this is a fight you can't miss.
This is going to be a lot better than Mayweather. It's going to be better than Mayweather and McGregor.
I honestly believe that.
I think so. I think that really is a moneymaker. I don't think it's going to be a great fight. Mayweather, like you mentioned, I can't stand Mayweather either. I don't think he's not my favorite boxer, but I respect him. McGregor has no experience in the ring boxing. I mean, he's got some striking ability, but you're fighting a boxer who boxes for a living.
Exactly.
You wouldn't expect Mayweather to go into the octagon and choke McGregor out. He's never done it.
And that's why I have respect for Canelo and Triple G. They kept talking about it, and they finally came through on their word. They made the fight happen. They made it at a weight where they can't use that as an excuse that Canelo made him come down or anything. They are fighting at the 160 weight limit. So to me, there's no excuses. It's going to be the best man's going to win. And to me, it's going to be a rumble. It's going to be strategy. It's going to be who really wants it. It's going to be a great fight. Don't miss this.
You think it's going to go all 12 rounds, or you think someone's going to get knocked out? Your honest opinion. That's a tough question.
That's tough. I mean, they've both gone the distance. They both have knockout power. I mean, it could go either way. It could be a knockout fight. Or it could be, it's a matter of who scores the most points. It's going to be a tough fight. Either way it goes, whether it ends in a knockout or if it goes to 12 rounds.
I hate to say it, as much as I love both of them and would love to see both of them maybe knock each other out, I think it's going to go 12 rounds. It's going to be a decision. I think they're too good of fighters, and they're going to respect each other too much
great fighters
to even put themselves in the position to get knocked out. But I can't wait. I wouldn't bet money on. I'm not a betting guy, but there's going to be a lot of money bet on that.
And speaking of great fighters, we did have two really awesome fighters that I loved watching boxing retired this week. The big one, of course, Vitaly Klitschko finally retired. He was one great champion. I mean, he had some big boy fights. He fought some of the best. Lennox Lewis. He fought Anthony Joshua. He lost, but, he's had some great fights. He only had 2 losses in his whole career. And
45-2 with 41 knockouts.
That's
no draws.
One hell of a knockout rating right there. Yeah. To me, Klitschko and his brother were some great boxers. To me, he was the better of the two. He ran that heavyweight division for a long time, and he finally decided to retire. He was in talks of rematching with Anthony Joshua, but he just decided that it was his time to give up the reins. So as of right now, Anthony Joshua is the heavyweight fighter that everybody wants to fight now. But he did decide to retire. Another one of my favorites that decided to retire officially out of the fight, Juan Manuel Marquez, El Dinamita.
Everybody knows Marquez.
Everybody knows Marquez. He had those epic fights with Pacquiao.
Right,
and he finally decided to retire. He was an awesome, exciting boxer to watch. He fought some of the best fighters.
He kept a lot of Hispanic and Mexican older generations watching. I know my father-in-law was a fan of his, and we would watch those fights because, there is a lot of Mexican boxers out there, and he was one that stood out. And then when he got Pacquiao, man, that was exciting for everyone, I think. Yeah. I mean, it was unexpected. He knocked him out. boy couldn't get up. You know, he hit him real good. And, that's the most memorable thing that I remember from him is that he laid him out, and he didn't just lay him out. I mean, he was out cold.
He was out cold, yeah.
And, you know, he kept a lot of those older generations still in
glad
boxing.
I got to watch him and experience a lot of his fights. He had some really awesome fights. So
he was good. I mean, he kept the older generation in, I think, a little bit more than you know, they tuning out. UFC started coming in a little bit more. So
after Chavez was done.
Chavez
well.
is still that's still my favorite fighter.
Right.
90-something and 0, and then you finally lose, but you lose at the end of your career. Now I know Mayweather has that 49-0, but you didn't go 90. You know.
Yeah,
but
Mayweather
different
knows
times.
what's up. I mean, I know we're gonna be biased because we grew up watching boxing, Mexican boxing, but. Just look at the dates that Mayweather would fight on Cinco de Mayo, Mexican Independence Day. There's a whole thing about that style, and that style translates to a lot of boxing fans, and that style is what brings a lot of people to watch. And I think that's part of the allure to the Triple G and Canelo fight, and why Triple G took on that style as well. Why Mayweather respects the Mexican boxing. He even came out in Mexican gear before, and to mariachis due to knowing that's
the
what
Mexicans
he likes.
are fighting.
Yes.
And we are going to take a small, quick break.
we're gonna bring you upcoming events. I'm gonna tune out. Alexis is gonna jump in and finish out the upcoming events and close out the
And
show.
we'll get
for you
his thoughts
guys.
on a few
I do want
things.
to thank y'all for tuning in. We are gonna be bringing y'all some more shows, so stay tuned. Make sure y'all follow my personal page, the Sports Cave. We're gonna have some giveaways coming up. We got hookup on sports memorabilia if y'all looking for that. So get at me. And make sure y'all check out the Sports Cave. Make sure y'all share us. I'm going to have a giveaway for everybody that shares our page and likes our page. So make sure y'all stay tuned in for that. I'll bring y'all more on that.
All right, thank you, Manuel, for coming in. Manuel is part of the show. Like I said, he had to take off a little bit early due to our technical difficulties. He ran a little bit over, but we always got someone ready to step up, and so we're going to have
Next man up.
production assistant coming in, our boy Lex here. He's been looking at the stats. He's been live chatting with y'all, filling you in, giving you these, I know, putting some people, putting them in their place. I don't know what's going on. Cowboys are for sure. Josh, they're not going to lose this year. We're going to do good.
Speaking of the live chat, yeah, Josh keeps asking how many games are going to lose, or how are we
don't
going to
plan
lose?
every year. If you're a true Cowboys fan, we're going to tell you we're going to the Super Bowl every year. I will be on my deathbed when the season starts, and I will tell you this year is the year we're not going to lose any. Now we may lose 1 or 2.
I'll say 9-7. We still win the East, and we might be a 3 seed playing wild card weekend, win, and then go to the Super Bowl.
That's pretty good.
I agree.
Lex,
Sound-
you good with that?
sound right to you
Lex,
guys?
go introduce yourself.
Next question.
Sure. Lex.
Rafael also brings up a good point. He said that for the Triple G fans, I like this idea that there should be a Mexican Triple G support group a fan group. I like that, like a group for those, a refuge, if you
For
say.
those
for
that
these
you're
type of
going
fans.
against
The
Canelo.
you're going to be outnumbered if
Yeah.
you go to a cookout or a fight night, and you happen to be around a lot of Mexican or Hispanics. They're most likely going to be rooting.
Mexicans are very
for-
passionate about their culture
for their people,
and their
yeah,
people.
definitely.
And
So good luck, buddy. We'll try to start that group out for you. Maybe we'll start one on Facebook, and best of luck to you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be rooting for Triple G. I respect him, but I'm not gonna be rooting for him. So
I can't say
I'll
that
try
I
to
maybe
direct some
won't
people
root
your
for him
way.
a little bit just so I can see a good fight. I know sometimes it's fun to be the underdog and go against the grain, but I don't know, man. I really don't have a favorite at this point. But I'm sure, Rafael, if you look around, there might be some Triple G support groups for Mexicans already. I know a few guys that are Hispanic and are rooting for Triple G. They fell in love with his fighting and his style, and of course it is. Manny said maybe a little bit of a Mexican style fighting.
It is. I mean, he's got a song called Mexican Style, so
Yeah,
it's definitely.
I mean, so don't feel bad if you root for Triple G and you're Mexican. I mean, it's you have your opinion. You go who you go with, and it wouldn't make a lot if he fights Mexican style. Are you really should you be rooted against? I mean,
Yeah.
he's fighting the style.
I
that
think
you're
you
used
should
to.
feel bad. I think Team Canelo all the way. You should feel bad. Come on now. Triple G.
We do. Fredo again chimed in and said Canelo's gonna win in round 9. So Fredo, you talking about knockout? You think it's gonna happen? We'll see. Fredo's a wild card. He's sometimes right. He's got a good streak of luck sometimes. So we'll see. But I don't know. I think it's gonna go 12. They're too good of fighters to, like you said, they're too good of a fighter, each of them, to be knocked out by another one. But you never know, man. It's the training that goes into it. So, anything you want to chime in on that we talked about before? Any of your fantasy strategies?
Well, as the reigning champ for the
Yes,
Liga
the
Chump
reigning
Club,
champ right here.
Appreciate it.
Whatever.
No, I mean, I agree with everything y'all said. I think running backs are a limited breed, so obviously there's only a small number that are really impacting season to season. So I think running backs first are always a good strategy. I agree with the quarterbacks waiting until the very end. You can get a really good quarterback towards the end of the rounds, and still there's not a big differential between those quarterbacks and ones you draft in the beginning round. So,
go ahead.
Oh no, I agree. Yeah.
Excuse me. To touch on that, I was going to say y'all had brought up Jai earlier, and Lex even mentioned that he's the number 7 ranked running back. He's somebody. If I'm sitting at 10 or 11, he's somebody I'm watching very closely. If I don't get him on the first part of my draft, I'm definitely going to get him on the second part of the draft.
Especially with him having a quarterback that's just coming in, he's going to get a lot of touches. They ran a lot last year.
And he's a 3-down back. I mean, he's a
definitely.
He proved it. He had a few 200-yard games or 2 200-yard games back to back last year, and he really stepped it up. And I think he's going to be a big part of their offense. So that's somebody I would definitely keep an eye out on.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, I used him because of our draft. I picked him up another draft, and he panned out pretty well. So I mean, it was a name that nobody knew. Like, what? Who?
Yeah.
And, people question that, but you pick him up in the middle of the season, and he's still available, and then he starts going off.
Yeah.
It pays off.
He's a waiver wire wonder.
Who is this year's Jay Ajayi? Who do you think that is no name right now that is very low key? That you think has a breakout potential to be a starting or a top 12 running back for this year?
I'm going to go with a rookie and say Christian McCaffrey. Just based on what I've seen of him physically. From Stanford, he ran in a pro-style offense, so it's not going to take him a long time to pick up that offense. And Carolina has a pretty good offense. Their receivers aren't that great. That's known. Cam is hurt right now, and they're going to be leaning towards the running game. I think that's somebody that y'all should look out for. He could be a breakout potential type of running back. Is there anybody that you guys have on y'all's radar?
I don't have anyone in mind at this moment, no, but I am kind of curious on how New Orleans is going to do with their running back situation. They're going to run committee. They're going to focus more on one or the other. You have 2 proven backs there now in Ingram and Peterson. Who do you give the ball to?
Who catches the passes? That's a big part of the running back position now. Who can catch the ball out of the backfield? Is it Ingram? Is it Peterson?
They both can do it.
They're both okay at it. They're not the types that you would want to depend on throwing every third down. So that's going to be interesting to see what they do out there in New Orleans. And Breeze is one of the top passers all the time. I mean, it's a passing offense. Their defense can't keep them on the field. Their defense is always terrible, but their running game should also help their defense, as we've seen in Dallas. So if they can lean on it and become more run-oriented, I think they could possibly do better. They're always top in passing, but their record these last few years has been terrible.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got some problems down there, but I think maybe something to look into. I mean, that's one of the things we talk about, committee backs. Like, you draft one, you draft the other. You can't draft them both, you're losing a spot, but there's a lot of questions. A lot of teams are making a lot of moves, and so it's going to be definitely an interesting draft when we have ours.
Yeah. No, I'm personally a little worried about Adrian Peterson. He's on the wrong side of 30s. He's a little bit older. There's a reason why Vikings let him go. I mean, and obviously the Vikings didn't bring anybody really big impact and come in. And they had Latavius Murray come in, but obviously, so there's a reason why I think the Vikings let him go. I think he's going to be a great addition to New Orleans, but
he's not going to be the Adrian Peterson.
I don't think he's going to be Adrian Peterson before. I think Mark Ingram's going to be 1 and 2 back, and they're going to bring in Peterson for every once in a while, but not as impacting as previous years, in my opinion.
Golden, Lex.
We'll
Golden.
See.
I had a way to step in. Well, with that, we're just going to talk about some upcoming events. If you guys are interested, we are going to do in our league. We can open it up to everyone and do a sports cave pick'em, which we basically go in every week. You choose who's going to beat what team, and we're going to keep it simple. It's either Cowboys are going to beat this team, the Saints are going to beat this team. We might have a giveaway at the end of the season for the winners. Putting you to the challenge. We think we're pretty savvy, but anybody that's interested, you can go ahead and email us at DaSportzCave at gmail.com.
That's correct. And we're going to do this on Yahoo to keep it simple. That's how we prefer our fantasy group. Everything's pretty easy. It's a weekly pick 'em. There's no lines. You just pick team versus team, and we want to
Straight up.
challenge
Team
you,
versus
challenge
team.
us, see who's the best. I don't do these pick'ems very often. I'm excited to get into it and challenge.
We want to get
our
you guys
viewers.
involved, yeah. So definitely, if you're interested, send us your email. We'll add you. We'll send you the invite. We'll get that open. It starts at the beginning of the season, runs all the way towards the end. And basically, what it is, anybody can play. There's no requirements as long as you have an email. It's basically picking the teams you think are going to win that week. It's pretty simple. It's a 50-50 chance that you got it picked right. So definitely send us your email. Send us that way. I also have some homework for our viewers, and this is one of my favorite subjects. It's one of the topics we'll talk about next year. Tailgating. It's very big. Football's coming in. We've done it for baseball. We've done it for football. And so we got to eat.
Chub life.
Chub life. I definitely want to know if you guys' favorite recipes. Maybe what is a good thing to not make or take to the games. Something that's simple and maybe not as heavy, so you're not gonna get tired after you eat and tailgating. But send us your favorite recipes. If you've made recipes before and taken pictures, send that way.
Send us some food. Let's change it up.
We'll change it. Hey, we could do a taste test if you guys are interested. We're
always.
not gonna
give you
away
shout
food.
outs. We'll eat anything free.
Now we have our own personal chef, which is Fredo.
Yes.
And last time we got together, he got us eating all day. I mean, we started early, and I've never had to turn away food before, and I want to know what you guys' input is on your favorite recipes. Game day foods, we have your typical hot dogs, burgers, but
we don't want
anything
that.
anything interesting that you can think of, we'll let you know maybe some of our recipes, something that we like, or it doesn't have to be a huge topic, but you definitely, with the tailgate coming up, we want to give you guys advice on what to take, what not to take, what's easy to make, that way you're not struggling out there having to put stuff up and having the grill out there. The grill's a good idea, but someone has to tend to that.
Yeah, let's get creative. Just for example, Thursday, Fredo made some chicken with bacon and jalapenos and cheese
Finger
in there. It was awesome. So that's the type of deal we're looking for. We want to look for something special, something different that you won't typically find, something that'll make a splash at your tailgate, or if you're having people over, anything like that.
Anybody
that's what
can
we're
make
looking
burgers
for.
and hot dogs. And
Yeah, exactly.
Nachos are a big thing with Rotel, but just give us ideas. Give us your top favorite foods. We love food, I love food.
We all love food.
But
Yes.
tailgate season coming in, that's going to be helpful for maybe first-time tailgaters who don't know what to expect. We've thrown a few, and we can get some ideas of what maybe it's not the ideal food to take.
I think we should make a challenge. Whoever
Who's got
sends
the
us
best
the best recipe or food or anything
on you
like
guys.
that.
It
should be a taste
I
test
think we should
challenge,
do
right?
that.
I mean,
We're
this
gonna
is
have a
something we
couple
should all-
challenges and a couple
Yeah.
prizes, and maybe we can give them a gift certificate to eat or something like that, or even have Chef Fredo cook up something for them. or
Yeah,
something like
definitely. So we'll challenge you guys. Send us your best recipes. We want to know. We'll try it out. Definitely, if you want to make it for us so we can try it live, well, we'll do it. I mean, I'm not scared to eat, but
Bring it.
Bring it. We want your recipes. We want to know what's good. Like I said, it's for us to help each other out. If you have a simple recipe that is quick and easy, and you can take it to a tailgate, and it's not gonna make a big mess, and it's gonna taste really good, then we want to know. We want to share that.
He means it, people. He
I'm
means
not
it.
lying. I'm passionate about my food.
Right.
And definitely, Laura, egg rolls are definitely appreciated.
Those
Those
are
are
very
awesome.
good.
So those are good
Awesome.
finger foods. So
All day long.
Those
Thumbs
are
up on that.
Yeah, I think I overdid it last time I ate them, and I felt it, but it was very worth it.
That's awesome.
I ate too many, but is there really too many that you can eat?
No such
We
thing.
also want to bring up next week's a big week in football. There's a lot of games coming up. There's Thursday game,
Wednesday
Friday,
as well.
Wednesday, Friday. I don't know about Friday, but Saturday for sure. Did you say
Yeah.
it was Saturday, Friday?
Yeah, Wednesday we have one game, Texans versus Panthers, 6:30 p.m. Thursday we have 7 games actually, so quite a big game.
7 games on
Thursday.
Thursday, so
Yeah,
that's
it's kinda crazy.
blessing in there.
Friday we have 3 games, and then Saturday we have 3 games also, including the Cowboys.
Including the Cowboys and Rams.
At 8 p.m.
So
versus the Rams.
definitely, if you guys are itching for some football, next weekend is going to be when there's games on all the time. Make sure you watch, so you can give us a recap or questions about maybe something that you have interested in. But this is the time of season where we love it. There's always a game on. I don't know about you guys. I know I try to catch some football games, like college games as well. But
Definitely.
it's
Oh,
always
yeah.
a football on.
College season's coming up. There's going to be some big games the first couple of weekends, some games out here at the stadium as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to all of that, and we're going to try to we're going to figure out a time. We're going to try to make a football-oriented show each week, so stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking college and NFL and fantasy So that's something
And
we
there's
look forward
being
to.
in Texas, there's also maybe times where we'll give you some insight on high school football.
Definitely. It's
There's
key.
a lot of teams that are ranked nationally in our area, so we definitely want to give them some shout outs and get you guys in tune with that and give you recaps.
I'll be going to some games, and we're going to try to incorporate some pictures and videos and different things as well in our future shows. So that's something we're working on. So be on the lookout for that. We're excited. Football season's almost here, guys.
It's ready.
We should see some starters next week. That's going to be promising. See what Dak and Zeke and Dez, Jason Witten, different Cowboys, and not only Cowboys, but all NFL, across NFL, there should be more starters than there was in the Hall of Fame game, just due to the Cowboys having to play 5 games, and they set a lot of people out, so it should be a lot more exciting, a lot better games going forward.
Yeah,
Anything
I
else?
agree. No, that's something good.
Our draft on
Our
the
draft,
25th.
We are doing it the 25th. We haven't decided on the location yet, but if everyone's welcome. We'll put out that information just to sit there and watch with us, enjoy it. It's coming up on the 25th. It's a Friday night. We'll let you know the location. Like I said, you guys are welcome to come watch, hang out with us for a little bit. We definitely have fun when we do our drafts. We're family oriented, family friendly, but we are going to be focused. So when it's time to draft, we'll be lasered in. But definitely, we'll let you guys know. I think we're choosing a spot that has a pretty good giveaway. If you win, you get pizza for a year.
Yeah,
that's kind of a good incentive. It's
that's the way to the heart. It's old
league.
Chicago pizza. We're thinking about
going there.
They have a deal for $9, unlimited pizza. So that's pretty awesome. Some drink specials as well, and we have to bring our own board, which is going to be a bummer. But that's something you can get online for what, $10, $12.
Yeah.
So it'll be worth it if you're going to do that. If you go anywhere else. I would definitely ask beforehand just to see what their accommodations are. If you're going to do a live draft, make sure that they have Wi-Fi, good Wi-Fi. I really still wouldn't trust it. I would ask to see if there's any freebies, any incentives for you going to go. You're going to bring at least 10 to 12 people, so you should be getting something out of it. And there are some places, Fox and Hound we've been to, they'll give you some free appetizers. Sometimes they'll give you goodies, koozies. Hooters does that as well. So this time we are leaning towards Old Chicago because of the ads pretty much. And if you haven't tasted their pizza, it's awesome.
And I do suggest if you do Old Chicago, you probably do that pretty soon because after we're done with them, they might reconsider this deal.
Yes.
$9 a person will probably make a negative once we're done. So
we can put them out of business.
Yeah, so.
We did it to Waffle House's buffet. It's happened before.
We've gotten stopped before. You got to slow down.
Yeah.
If you guys have never done a live draft, definitely check what the place you're going to do it at. You don't want to learn the hard way that they don't have what you need. Like I said, Old Chicago's giving away for the first place winner of the league. It's free pizza for a year. How can you not beat that? So you're not only going to win the league and a trophy, you're going to win pizza for a year. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, maybe the winner will take us
I already said I'd take you guys at least once a month.
Yeah, but you're not going to win.
Treat you guys and let y'all know
Lex is
how
trying to hold
good
the
life
championship
is.
back to back.
That's right. Just back to
I'm
back.
claiming it. I've never been this pumped up to win if we do happen
And it's
to.
for the pizza.
I'm claiming
Go
the young Jimmy Johnson.
The trophy's
Jimmy
cool and all,
Johnson,
but the trophy can only do so much. Pizza for a year.
It
Oh,
sounds
my goodness.
great. And think about it. That's for a whole year. You just want to go out somewhere and get some pizza. Bam, you got free pizza at a place. But definitely stay tuned, guys. Thank you for. What we got? Another question?
No. Raphael just stated that they do have good beer
selection.
selection. You
Thank
can
you,
even
Raphael,
ask for a sample and get a few
Like a
beers.
taste test?
Yeah,
Flight?
taste test. That's what I plan to do and act like I've never been there
why
and
haven't we
get
done
that
it there before?
and get a few little
Hey,
testers. They're pretty
we
good
can't
size.
knock Fox and
Fox and
Hound.
Hound's
a good
Fox and
time.
Hound
It's a
treated us
good
very
time,
well.
definitely.
They set us in a nice place last time we did it, and it was sofas and got us the board. They did give us $50 worth of appetizers or food. So definitely, if you haven't done a live drive, guys, check it out. Ask for those incentives. They'll promote them, but a lot of times they'll pay you, or they won't pay you, but they'll give you giveaways like food to do it at their place. And that for us,
We're not
sold,
there
we're gonna
yet.
be there. But I've the pizza for years.
Yeah.
Very enticing. So
It's
if you
touching.
guys want to join us that day, we'll be there. It'll be later on Fridays. If people work, got to give them time to get home and acclimate and get ready to go. But it's going to be the 25th. You guys are more than welcome to join, hang out with us for a little bit, maybe make fun of our picks that we choose, and see that we actually do have a wild card person that drafts, and we're not making it up. You can't make this stuff up. So with that being said, do you guys got anything else you want to add?
No, thank you for watching.
Yeah,
It's been awesome.
a pleasure.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to #champs.tv. If you guys did not catch the live stream, this is all going to be on repeat on iTunes and Play Music on Google. So send us those emails, comments. Again, we have a challenge. give us those recipes. We want as many as we can. We'll rate them. We'll go over what we like. If you want to bring it to us for us to taste it beforehand, we'll make accommodations to get you there. So with that being said, we appreciate it. It's episode 2. I think it was great. We apologize for the inconvenience at the beginning, but we want you guys to come back. Stay tuned.
Thank you for watching the Sports Cave on #Champs.
#Champs is a Twisted Curve production.